Time now for everyone's favorite segment of the week. Yeah.
It's time for a good old-fashioned Q&A, MMA fans.
Yes, Mike Heck, friend of the program.
The moment has arrived to hear from the man himself.
Oh, yes.
Ariel Helwani.
Ariel Helwani answering your questions on this Thanksgiving Eve. Everyone's in their car, train, plane, automobile.
Get out of your seats and on your feet.
And I fully...
Here he is, Ariel Helwani.
Yes, I like the crescendo there, and great camera switching by Tucker back there. I'm fully aware that a vast majority of our audience actually isn't living in the United States right now. So for the most part, a lot of you are just getting ready to celebrate a regular Thursday. But there's a holiday spirit, and we have to acknowledge that. By the way, before I get to the questions, this just came through my timeline, and I'm sort of blown away by it. Carlos Arias was a longtime reporter for the Orange County Register, and several months ago, I guess it was in May, there were reports out there that Carlos Arias had passed away. Carlos Arias was one of the first combat journalists that I ever met. Super nice guy. He was always at the boxing events, especially on the West Coast, at the MMA events, especially on the West Coast. I would see him all the time, Vegas, California, and I was under the assumption that Carlos Arias had died. And I see this tweet sent here from Dan Albano, who sends over this link that Carlos Arias isn't dead. And I'm kind of blown away by this. I have to read this very quickly here. I mean, if you're from OC and you're a fight fan, you probably know who he is because he's been covering fighting for so long over there. Our project today is to go back 6 months and update all those solemn tweets and tributes. This is what he writes. Mark Wicker. Carlos Arias was a great guy. No, it should be is. He was a tireless worker and had tremendous instincts for analyzing games he covered. No, is, and has. He brought a smile to his long work days and had what people now call people skills, which of course is nothing more than caring. Brings, has, come on now. Yes, Carlos is still with us. It's the equivalent of a grand slam with 2 outs and an 0-2 count in the bottom of the 7th inning of the softball games he always covered, or a knockout with 1 second remaining in the 12th round of his favorite boxing match. On May 13th, Carlos suffered a searing headache and went to a hospital. He had been in his room all day working on stories. He kept saying, I got to go finish that. Then he got this bad headache, and he was holding the back of his head. Carlos, 50, was in the midst of a severe stroke. Dr. Al Hauspian, a local psychologist and family friend, saw the images that were taken. He told Sue and Will, Carlos's dad, that they were devastating and that the large, dark patches offered little hope. Sue resumed praying. We're all believers. On May 19th, the doctors were all coming together at 4 o'clock in his Fresno hospital room. They would take Carlos off life support and remove the organs he had agreed to donate. Shortly after 10 a.m., a befuddled ICU doctor called Sue. Something strange has happened. Carlos just opened his eyes. I'm getting goosebumps reading this. This is wild. A nurse also noticed a twitch. Carefully, they began asking questions and told Carlos to blink if he was saying yes. They asked if he wanted to stay on life support. It was unequivocal. He blinked. Then there were small movements. I mean, could you imagine? This is unbelievable. Gradually, he would move his head, move his hands, his arms and legs. Then they moved him to a skilled nursing facility in Modesto. On August 25th, he was able to come home. What? The stroke had come and gone. A tornado that spared all the structures, a medical certainty that somehow gave way to intervention. Carlos is working again. He's filing stories for extra inning softball, helping high school kids get hooked up with colleges, telling their stories. He has a following there. This is amazing. I'm not going to read the whole story. I see pictures of Carlos. I recognize him. He's wearing his LA hat, his Dodgers hat, his Lakers t-shirt. I mean, this is amazing. I have chills. I have to retweet this. Wow. Incredible. Anyway, Carlos, if you're out there, much love, man. I'm so happy to hear that you're still around. I remember writing a tweet about him. I remember us at the MMAJA talking about something in his honor. That is amazing. Thank you for sending that to me. Okay. Question time. Incredible. Like back from the dead. All right, let me gather myself here. Yeah, Here we go. Everyone's favorite segment of the week. Chronological. And who's first? How does he do it? El Cubano himself. How does he always show up first? Hola, Ariel. First, I want to give thanks to you and everyone else included in helping to make the MMA Hour each and every time a memorable show. I'm truly thankful for having a platform to ask one of the greatest MMA historians a question on a weekly basis. Looking back to last week, Talia Santos was the only fighter to have a finish on Saturday. Santos is ranked 5th with a 19-1 record, her only loss being a split decision in her UFC debut. Does that set her up for the next title fight, being that the Queen, Valentina Shevchenko, thankful for my favorite fighter, has already defeated all the fighters ranked above Santos? Bonus question for GC. Would this be the closest odds for Shevchenko since the Nunes fight? Oh, my. GC is clocked out. He's on the train over to CT at this point. Let's see. Let's see if our new system. Are
Shevchenko, what was the fight?
There he is. There he is. What, you weren't paying attention?
No.
Okay.
I got lost there.
He's asking if Talia Santos, can you go back into the archives and let us know the closest odds for an Amanda Nunes fight? And he wants to know if Talia Santos, who is now ranked 5th, in back of Jennifer Maia, who has lost to Shevchenko, Lauren Murphy, who has lost, Caitlin Chukagian, who has lost, Jessica Andrade, who has lost, is next. And I kind of feel like she's next.
Against Amanda Nunes.
Yes.
Amanda Nunes has been an underdog multiple times in her career.
When's the last time?
Against Ronda Rousey in 2016, she was plus 150. Against Miesha Tate, she was plus 230.
Okay, the Miesha Tate one I could believe in. The Ronda Rousey one is a joke.
Against Shevchenko, the split decision, she was plus 105. I think, that was the last time she was an underdog.
Interesting.
No, never mind. Chris Cyborg, she was plus 160 in 2018.
Wow.
Less than 3 years ago, Amanda Nunes was still an underdog.
Wow.
She was cashing underdog tickets. That is crazy. That is the last time, though.
Okay, closest line
since
her
then,
being the favorite.
minus 375 against Jermaine Durandamy. Yeah.
Okay.
In 2019, minus 375. So, yeah. You're saying Taylor Santos is next?
Well, that's what this guy's asking. By the way, New York Rick chiming in. I thought he doesn't work on Wednesdays, Mr. Monday Afternoon. Tyler. That's essentially what I was saying.
Right.
Tyler. I apologize. Tyler, excuse me. I say it like the Jewish way. Talia. Talia. Okay, so there you have it. I do think she would be next, and I don't know if the odds would be supremely close, but there's a case to be made. Carmine. Ariel, my friend, because of the Venom and previous Reebok deal, fighters in the UFC can't really show much originality or personality. Do you think they should allow more extravagant entrances for fighters to connect more with the audience? Yes. And in turn, it will help them to become bigger attraction. Yes. Imagine the main card having entrances similar to Fury and Wilder. Yes. I think it's great for the spectacle of the card. Now, you can't do it for every fight. And I think you have to decide when you do it. But this is something that the UFC has said they're not interested in, and this is something that people like Israel Adesanya has said they want to see happen, and they've tried to push the issue. But yes, again, like I was saying, the more unique, the better. I really like the walkouts for Paul Woodley. They were in that thing, and they came up. That was cool. McBean responds, too time-consuming. They have a broadcast to keep in order. That's why boxing only really has one extravagant walkout. Yes, so you can't do it for every fighter on the card. That's 10 of those. But if it's a big deal, look, they kind of strayed outside the box with Conor McGregor and Chad Mendes, but they don't do it often. Hey, Ariel, to you, who is the greatest athlete of all time? What is your criteria? I mean, of all time, greatest athlete? Golly. I mean, that's a tough one. People who come to mind are like Jesse Owens, who competed in multiple sports. Jackie Robinson was a great athlete. I mean, that's a long time ago, though. Bo Jackson was an incredible athlete. He might be up there before he got injured, doing what he did in both baseball and football. Deion Sanders, not as good as Bo Jackson, I thought, in baseball, but certainly incredible that he was able to do both sports. Jackie Joyner-Kersee, McBean writes here. McBean just chiming in all over the place. Those are some, but I mean, someone that plays multiple sports at a high level, there haven't been a ton of those. MJ, baseball, basketball. Kind of hard to say one. Oh, New York Rick chiming in again. I feel like New York Rick just wants to be here on a Wednesday, if I'm being honest. Could we get a camera and a microphone in his home, and then he can just chime in? That would be nice. That's the next project for Srinivas. Shout out to Srinivas and the whole team back there. Miles, everyone back there. Frank for setting up the cameras in everyone's spot. Herschel Walker, a good one. Oh, are we going to New York Rick? I thought maybe this. No. No. That is good. Whose idea was that? Is that Tucker? Man, that is good stuff. Where is he, Mr. Monday Afternoon? Where are you at? Empty chair. Doesn't even stick around when I asked him a question after his segment. I can't wait for him to see this and chime in on the Slack channel. That was good. That was well played. Ariel, do you think Dana would go for the Diaz-Askren fight? I would assume not after Askren's loss to the greatest boxer of our generation, Jake Paul. McBean chimes in again. No, Uncle Chael explained this perfectly last night. I'm not sure where. Perhaps his YouTube channel. No, he's not going to do this. There's no way. They're giving Nate Diaz a tough fight. If it's going to be the last fight of his deal, he's getting a tough fight. Maybe Khamzat, maybe someone else. There have been some talks. That's all really I can say at the moment. They're giving him a tough fight. It's not going to be Askren. It is interesting that Askren's throwing it out there. I thought he was officially done, but it's not going to be Askren. Hey, Ariel, glad the DC beef is over. As am I. God bless America. The community could not bear to see it last any longer. I saw your interview with Renee and your emotions about DC reaching out after 199. I felt the love, dude. So glad it squashed. So my question is, which bits were a work and which bits of the beef were a shoot? It was a shoot, brother. The whole thing was a shoot. My feelings were hurt, all right? My feelings were hurt. Here he is telling me he doesn't have time. He's hobnobbing with everyone all over town. He's hugging everyone all over town. He's doing interviews for the YouTube channel. He's doing DraftKings stuff. He's doing all kinds of things. He doesn't have time to pop in for 10, 15 minutes. I mean, Becky Lynch was being spread so thin last week. She came in for an hour chat. My old friend, my partner in crime couldn't come in for a few minutes. I mean, Ian, Gary, Cheeto Vera, they're coming in. They're fighting on the card. What is DC doing? Let's not start this all over again. But yes, my feelings were hurt. But we're all good now. You know what I should do? I should just keep calling him live on the air. So he doesn't have to commit to it. He doesn't get in trouble. It's on me. Anyway, this individual, Nim, writes, P.S. The real casual tweet had me on the floor laughing. Yes, I was referring to Rosendo Sanchez. Rosendo Sanchez with a C. Oh, McBean chimes in again. Wow, this is great. All of it was in jest. Brothers from another mother. Come on, man. No, that's wrong. It was a shoot. Ariel, this is from Jim. Love your mental health discussions. Thank you. And I'm placing a significant focus on this for my 2022 goals. Not to dive too deep, but all caps. What routine are you doing to improve yourself daily? Pound Town Podcast. So, I try to do my Peloton every day. I like to sweat. Something that I heard yesterday when I was doing it with my good friend Emma Lovewell, who, for whatever reason, is proving to be a difficult person to book on my podcast. You are a nicer person. You are a better person when you work out in any capacity. It doesn't have to be a fancy schmancy 10K run like, old show off over there, GC. It could just be something, a walk, a run, a jog, some push-ups. Life makes more sense. Your head is clear. You sweat. You feel better. So I try to do that. I try to be a lot more grateful, a lot more present. Try to be, with the kids. Try not to check my phone all the time. Try to put it away for even 30 minutes. Little goals. Try to be less anxious. Try not to worry about things that are happening in 2 weeks today. Worry about today, not tomorrow. Not yesterday, today. So just little things like that. And of course, talking to someone, talking to a therapist, that helps. All these things add up. The being active really helps. It really helps. I can't vouch for that enough. And talking to someone, can't vouch for that enough. Good luck to you. Frank, from one dad to another dad, I've been listening to your show since my son is 3 years old. He only speaks French. Wow. We're from Sherbrooke in Quebec. So for him, MMA is just a nice New Yorker journalist talking to people. Wow, that's nice. Although I am Canadian. He's going to be 13 next Monday, and he really wants to learn English. So we're going to go to New York next year to get him immersive learning. So in French, could you please give him a shout out for his birthday and give us a pizza place not to miss? Yeah, sure. What's his name? It's not in here. So this is from Frank Poole. Je veux dire bon anniversaire à le fils de Frank Poole. Vous êtes de Sherbrooke, Québec. Et mon nom est Ariel Helwani. J'apprécie que tu entendes mon émission, le MMA Hour. Et je veux dire bon anniversaire, 13 ans. Et j'espère qu'on peut te voir quand tu viens à New York l'année prochaine. Merci. Alex, my good friend Alex Weber, you've often mentioned how there should be an independent MMA Hall of Fame. Has it ever been discussed? What's stopping anyone from making one? Not really. Nothing that I know has been really seriously discussed on that topic, but I would love to see it happen. I mean, could you imagine the Reebok shorts getting in there? Like, we need an MMA Hall of Fame. How is it that this sport is almost 30 years old and there's no Hall of Fame? And I will be there. The first day that place is open, I will be there. It should probably be in Vegas. It might even be in Colorado, where UFC 1 took place, Denver, Colorado. Why not? There needs to be an actual MMA Hall of Fame with people who fought in Pride, like that man, Fyodor Emelianenko, UFC legends, Pancrase legends, Shudo legends, Hook and Shoot legends, Strikeforce legends, Elite XC legends, IFL legends, all those people. Affliction legends. It's got to happen. Why isn't anyone making one? I don't know. I mean, this sport still has a lot of growing up to do. McBean chimes in. Money and mass acceptance and recognition as legitimate. I don't think so. 30 years in. We're on ESPN. Come on. Brother Ariel. I saw Francis training with Rico Verhoeven ahead of the title fight. Will this be a difference maker or not? Happy Thanksgiving to the Helwani family. Thank you. McBean chimes in again. What's up with this dude? Francis is Francis. He's going to be refining what he has. I mean, yeah, do you want to just take over the segment, bro, or what? I don't know if it's going to be a massive difference maker, but I can't wait for that fight. I'll tell you that much. Some heat there. Francis is the man. Ciryl is the man. Is it too soon for Ciryl? We'll find out. Francis got some power. Not very active. Can't wait for that fight, January 22nd. I don't know if it's going to be a massive difference maker, but I mean, you could do a lot worse than that. Rico Verhoeven, one of the best strikers in the world, Glory heavyweight champ. Ariel, a couple of weeks ago, we saw the crowd of the year at Bellator Dublin. What are your top 3 crowds ever? Also, could the UFC learn anything from the Bellator production, use of stage, playing music between rounds, that helps add to the crowd atmosphere? I don't think so. I don't like the music between rounds, to be honest. They used to do that in Strikeforce. The stage is cool, but I like the walking out through the crowd. I don't think they have to refine that. It's very old school boxing. In terms of top 3 favorite crowds, I've talked about this a little bit. UFC Dublin, Conor versus Brandao has to be up there. I always talk about UFC 127 in Sydney. That was so loud. That's got to be up there. The Cleveland crowd for Stipe, that's got to be up there. The Montreal crowd for George. I mean, pick a George fight. UFC 83 and 124, I think, were the loudest. The Koscheck fight was super loud. That felt like a really big deal. December of 2010. O2 Arena, Bisping Silva was a great one. I mean, I'm sure there's a gazillion. Oh, UFC 134 in Brazil was a great one. Rio de Janeiro, that was amazing. Yeah, so those are some. Oh, speaking of which, if you had to live your life without ever tasting Brazilian acai or matzo ball soup, which one would you eliminate from your life? Wow. I was introduced to acai at UFC 134 with my good friend Guilherme Cruz, the Brazilian Beast. One of the most amazing. I mean, I'm kind of craving it right now, if I'm being honest. A little granola, a little fruit, a little banana, golly. But it's not like it is in Brazil. It's totally different here in America. There's just some. I've never tasted something that is so dramatically different in one place compared to the other. But if I had to choose one, I would say I would eliminate the acai because matzo ball soup just, it's part of my heritage, speaks to my soul. Oh, McBean chimes in again. He picks Montreal, GSP, Connor Dublin, Connor Khabib. I don't know if Connor Khabib is one of them. Those Vegas crowds aren't always that great. Connor versus Mendez was a great one. Most competitive division currently in the UFC, or which division has the most up-and-coming talent? I would say 135 probably has the most up-and-coming. 155 has to be very competitive. Heavyweight, light heavyweight, no. Middleweight, no. 170 was active for a while, but Usman has really done a good job of weeding everyone out. I would say 155 and 135 at the moment. 115 is pretty competitive. Here's McBean answering all my questions. He says 155 is most talented, 145 or 170 most up-and-coming. All right. I like how he just chimes in on every question. Favorite segment of the week. This is from Patrick. 2 questions. What did Uncle Chael think about the beef between you and DC? Didn't hear from him. Any good stories to tell from times you've buried the hatchet with fighters and or other media members? Oh, God. You want me to spill all the tea? Well, there's some fighters over the years that, wouldn't talk to me. I mean, Ben Askren hated me. Ben Askren famously wanted to fight me because I was a little bit critical of his win over Douglas Lima. And now we're cool for the most part. Tito didn't like me, and then he liked me. That was because of Matt Mitrione. That was because of the Mitrione Minute. I mean, there's obviously some ones that I haven't been able to rectify, if you will. You know the ones. There's no real great story there from the fighters. As far as the media members are concerned, I mean, I don't think I've beefed with a lot of them. I think a lot of them, will talk smack behind your back, but then, you confront them or reach out to them. There's not a lot of smack talking. I mean, obviously, you guys were all very interested in the Luke stuff. We're cool now. Never really a beef on my end. So yeah, no real great tea unless I'm forgetting about something. I mean, it's been a 15-year journey at this point, but I'd like to think for the most part, despite what other people have said, I'd like to think I have a pretty good relationship with the majority of the people out there. Fighter, manager, journalist. When will DC see the light? What light? I don't know what that is all about. Ariel, my man, you've really brought wrestling back to the scene. If there was one pro wrestler you could manage like Heyman, who would it be and why? By the way, happy holidays to you and the family. McBean chimes in, by the way. He says I should manage Rowdy Ronda Rousey. Well, she doesn't like me. Ronda Rousey, I've talked about this. She doesn't like me because of the Travis Brown interview when he was on the show, which, Travis Brown was being accused of domestic violence, and he wanted to come on to talk about it. And then she got mad at me for asking the questions. And then I think Travis, didn't tell her or something that he was down to talk about it. And we talked about it beforehand. It was almost a pre-interview. And ever since then, she just doesn't like me. I don't know why. She still holds a grudge against me that when she was making her Strikeforce debut, I sat down to have a Caesar salad at an event. I think it was UFC 143. And someone asked me if I wanted to talk to her. And I was like, can you just give me 2 minutes? I just want to put something in my mouth. And she always brought that up over the years, that I made her wait. And which is fine. You can be mad about that. I just wanted to quickly put something in my mouth. If you're famished, you just want to have a little Caesar salad. What can I say? But she doesn't really like MMA media on the whole. So I don't know if that would be a good one. I mean, I think Kayla Harrison and I could do some good work. But if they have to be a current wrestler, I mean, you can match me up with anyone, if I'm being honest. Give me someone like Ricochet who needs a mouthpiece. Give me someone like that. Who else? I can't believe, do you guys see that fan attack Seth Rollins? I was just talking about Seth Rollins, how nice he was to my kids backstage. And this crazy fan attacks him on Monday Night Raw. What the hell's up with that? Pulling him by the hair? And then he comes out, plays it off. I mean, what a pro. That's amazing. Now all of a sudden he's the biggest babyface I feel like in the business because, I mean, that was a pretty hard hit. The guy came out of nowhere and just freaking tackled him, blindsided him. Ricochet is great. I'll say Ricochet. Maybe someone like Omos. Be a mouthpiece for him. Just a massive man. Ariel, I've noticed and understand why you steer clear of politics, but the fighters often do not. I've observed the vast majority of those lean Republican conservative. I hypothesize that this is because of a deep belief in meritocracy. It is critical for fighters to stay motivated to succeed in their career, and they then map this belief system onto conservative talking points. Why do you think so many fighters are Republican? Oh, McBean. He says, most fighters would actually be libertarian if this was closely evaluated. He also then chimes into the chime in again with, oh, wait. No, now he actually asked the questions. He actually asked a question. Okay. I don't know why. I mean, I think part of it might have to do with where they're from, but I mean, it's a fascinating question. Thank you, Chris, but I honestly don't know why. I try not to go there. Listen, I'm actually more attracted to people who are different than me. Like when I had Sean Strickland on, I was not offended by any of that. I'm very curious to know why you are. Like if you just surround yourself with people who are like you, it doesn't make for a very interesting show because then you're not inquisitive, then you're not asking questions. I mean, then there's no interest there. I remember being young and seeing Larry King interview Yasser Arafat. And I remember being young and thinking to myself, that's interesting. Larry King is Jewish and he's interviewing the head of the PLO. And then I remember thinking to myself, that's really damn cool that he's not allowing any internal feelings, bias, dictate who he's going to talk to. That's the kind of journalist I have tried to be and want to be. And so I know Bryce Mitchell and I don't think the same, don't have the same beliefs. I don't care. Doesn't bother me. We don't have to talk about it. If you're only going to invite people on your show that you think the same as, believe in the same, like I've told you, Colby Covington, ESPN. You know how many times I had to battle? I keep mentioning this because it was like the greatest example. I took a lot of heat for having him on the show, for not telling him to take off the hat, for having Trump. Like I took heat for that, internal heat. I don't care. Doesn't bother me. As long as you're not out here spewing hatred, hate speech, racist speech, anti-Semitic speech, misogynistic speech, anti-anything speech, like it's fine with me. If you're of a certain belief, but you keep it to yourself and we can talk about certain things. And if you're a little bit different and if you're on the other side of the ledger in terms of what you believe in, I actually feel like I'm more down the middle than anything. Like I don't believe in this whole right-left nonsense without getting too into it. Like I think it's crazy. And I talked about the media a few weeks ago. I think that's crazy. We get caught up in this whole red-blue crap. I mean, we're all one. We're all humans. This isn't freaking Game of Thrones. Grow up. This is McBean asking a question. With Khamzat having trouble landing a fight at welterweight and Sean Strickland getting his fight with Rockhold canceled, how about those two fight at middleweight? I'm down, but I kind of want to see Khamzat move forward at 170. But, I mean, look at him against Jack Hermanson. The size difference, he looked bigger than Jack. I'm down. Oh, this is amazing. He then responds 3 hours later and says, what are your thoughts? Then Dallas, New York responds, I'm surprised you didn't answer your own question. And then McBean responds, I did. So I guess everyone, I mean, this is a thing now. Stephen, to my fellow Canadian tribe member that is also an Adelaide Crows fan. Yes, we fly as one. Where's my gear? What did I do with it? I don't know where I put it. My shirt? Did someone steal my shirt? It was here before. It's somewhere. I was thinking about how it's pretty unfair. There can be an illegal blow and one fighter is on the ground and can barely breathe because it feels like they just shallowed their nuts. And another fighter can just relax in the corner and rest up, like with Moreno and Figueiredo. What are your thoughts to penalizing a fighter by making them ride a bike or do something physical while the other fighter is healing up? Wow. So basically, if someone is in the corner nursing their hurt testicles, you should be like doing push-ups or crunches or something. I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. I mean, if you're not going to take a point away, the least you could do is give us like 15 burpees, Do you expect the UFC to involve Trump in the Colby-Jorge fight promotion? No. Did you listen to Ben Askren on Lex Friedman's podcast? Who's Lex Friedman? Should I know who that is? I feel like Frank knows who that is. Is anyone back there anymore? Did you guys all leave? Yeah, you all left. Lex Friedman. I don't know what that is. Anyone know who Lex Friedman is? Askren suggests he would have given Khabib a difficult challenge if they fought. Maybe, a few years ago. Again, don't forget, Ben Askren is an Olympian. Ben Askren was really good. Ben Askren didn't lose a fight for a very, very long time until the Jorge Masvidal fight. This idea that Ben Askren was a scrub, a never was, a schmuck, a jobber is absolutely false. Don't forget that. My friend Abhisek. Dear Ariel, Sean Strickland persona, kayfabe or shoot? Shoot. Best underrated trash talkers, current as well as past. I mean, it's tough when you ask me these best underrated. I don't know. Anyone got anything back there? I think everyone left. New York Rick, you got anything?
Yes, you're by yourself now.
Okay, yeah. I mean, no one's answering my questions. Maybe someone on this? No. Dream MMA Survivor Series team, male and females. How about when AK was in its prime with DC, Kane, Rockhold, Khabib, throwing Islam in there. I liked when the Survivor Series teams were 4-on-4, not 5-on-5. And I wish that they would make it into a bigger deal. And I wish the whole card would be Survivor Series matchups, not just one. And not just this nonsense Raw and SmackDown stuff, which means nothing. I liked when it was the Heenan family against, the Hart family and the Kings against the whatevers, the Heartbreak. That was fun. And they'd start at the beginning of the pay-per-view, and I was like, I'm this guy, and our team is going to be, and they're eating turkey, and it's festive. It's different. It's not just a throwaway. It felt like a throwaway pay-per-view. If you missed that pay-per-view on Sunday, you're fine. You didn't miss anything. No titles were on the line. I mean, other than the Becky and Charlotte match, it didn't feel like anything was really at stake. Oh, Steven's got a beef. I got a beef with your answer last week to my question, Helwani, trying to sound like a heel, hoping it's showing the world that Canadians don't have to be polite all the time. I don't understand why you wouldn't respect a ref if they had an earpiece in it. Is that what you are thinking about when you watch the Bills continuing to free fall with another loss? Wow. Jeez, man. If you have refs in the ear to support the main ref in the ring by letting him focus on whether to stop a fight and fight or save. I mean, there's a lot going on. You got to make a split. You got a split second to make this decision. Take some of the onus off of them. To also look for fence grabs. At the same time, not sure how it makes the refs look like they're from WWE, not believable. I get it. I was just saying that. As a guy who has done amateur reffing, would love more support. Yeah, you know what? I take it back. You win, Steven. You win. I was just blowing through the questions at that point last week, so you win. I'm down. Hello, kind sir Helwani. First time writing a question. Just wondering if you plan on having Beneil Dariush on soon. I would love to have Beneil Dariush on soon. However, he is managed by someone who doesn't allow his clients to come on this program unless they just do it on their own, i.e. Kayla Harrison, i.e. Derek Brunson, i.e. there was another one that came on recently. How did I forget this person? Derek Brunson. Oh my God. Who did I forget? Derek Brunson, Kayla Harrison. There's another one. How am I forgetting this? Someone please tell me. You're definitely not going to remember. If anyone remembers. I mean, yeah, there was another one. Anyway, he is open to come on whenever he wants. Anytime. He's not being talked about enough. And dare I say, if he came on the show, more people would talk about him. Is all I'm going to say. So I agree with you. Also, I'm not a huge pro wrestling fan, but I love the interviews and hearing about the behind the scenes and very much appreciate the art. Helwani, 10-7 to the haters. That's right. Okay, a couple more. Good morning, Ariel. My question for you this week is, why do you think Stipe is so disrespected by the UFC even though he's the heavyweight GOAT? I mean, I think he's had a contentious past with them. He doesn't do a lot of promotion. Thank you, Brian. Corey Anderson. Yes, of course. How could we forget? He was on, he was off. Yes, Corey Anderson was the other one. Like you said on Monday, it seems like now is the time of the trilogy fights in the UFC, but he is the only person in recent history to not get one. I mean, no, he just got one against DC. What are you talking about? I know he beat him in the second fight, but I mean, it was a trilogy. This week's handicap hot take for you. Ciryl Gane will make Francis, I can't afford to pay for my training camps, and Ngannou look like an amateur in January when he becomes the undisputed champ. Wow. Remember that. Zach said it. 2 questions for you. What is wrong with the Lakers? They're like a hodgepodge of players who historically don't really play well with each other. They lost some key pieces. I mean, Westbrook is Westbrook. Carmelo's the man. I think they'll figure it out. And let's not forget, LeBron's getting older. He's getting older. He's been in the league since 2003. He doesn't have the same impact. Have you ever thought of LASIK surgery? Wow, great question. No. I can't even put, the idea of putting contacts in is scary. So LASIK, not really my thing. Although I got new prescriptions and my eyes are bothering me and I feel like they're too strong and it's annoying. Ariel, the Bulls and Knicks have a budding rivalry again. Yes. Tough loss on Sunday. All things are right in the NBA. It feels like a weird year. You got John Wall sitting out. You got Ben Simmons sitting out. Some teams are a mess. The Knicks are off to a weird start. Nice win last night against the Lakers, but just, I don't know. Feels a bit off. Feels like it's kind of stuck in neutral. Hope you and yours are doing well. I'm thankful for the space you have created that gives me time to relax from the stress of life. Happy Thanksgiving. Wow. Thanks, Ryan. Does Helwani exist if there's no beef at the time? Yes, of course. I'm on call all the time, ready to go. If not, who's your close number 2? Thug Nose, or I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that today is Helwani. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that today is Helwani. I don't know about number 2. I mean, they're all in me. Thug Nose, Helwani, El Nariz, Helwani Nose, all rolled in one. Thoughts on Tate going at 125? I don't know about that. She said she could do it last week on her show. Damn. I mean, she's pretty jacked. Be interesting. No shame in losing to Caitlin Vieira. Ariel, you talk sometimes on this show for 4 or 5 hours straight. What happens if you have to go to the bathroom at some point? I hold it in. Or do you go boo-boo when GC is giving us great picks? Nope, I'm right here. I hold it in. Ariel, what is your favorite Thanksgiving memory? God. Early in my time in New York City, 2005, 2006, I had a good friend named John Beer, and it was just my girlfriend and I, not even wife yet at the time, and we decided we're going to do Thanksgiving for the first time because I never had a Thanksgiving meal. Like, even when I was at Syracuse, I would just drive home, and we didn't do Thanksgiving, and he cooked a turkey from scratch, no recipe, no cookbook, no nothing, and it was just a lot of fun. And we stayed up. And there were actually basketball games. I remember several years ago, like TNT would show some basketball games on Thursday night, which I liked very much because I'm a bigger basketball fan than football fan, especially back then when the Bills sucked. And I remember we were betting on games. And I remember, I think it was on Bodog, and I think it was the Cavs and Wizards, or Magic Wizards. And I thought, this is a great memory, I thought I bet on one team. I think it was like I bet on the Wizards in my mind, but the Magic won by a large margin. And then I went back on the website and I realized that I actually bet on the Magic. And so it was a great Thanksgiving miracle. Do you know how many hours of content you produce each week? This feels like a part-time job keeping up with your work. It's a lot. It's a lot. I mean, just this show alone is like 8+ hours. I like to think that you could spread it out over the week, and that kind of covers you. Ariel, when do you think Dana White will call it a day being a promoter for the UFC? And who do you think could replace him? It's hard. I've heard people say JLDC. You have to have that passion. You have to have that drive. You can't just place someone in there. Putting in a figurehead that no one believes is the real decision maker is exactly what Dana wasn't. Everyone believed and knew that he was a decision maker, that he was a guy calling the shots behind the scenes along with the Fertittas, but he had that passion. And that's the reason why I think sometimes he was more successful than, say, like a Reed Harris in WEC or a Scott Coker in Strikeforce, because he had such passion. And especially when you saw those promotions go under the Zuffa umbrella and you realize that those guys don't have a say, they lost all of that panache, if you will. And so it's going to be a tough one. I don't think he goes away anytime soon. Honestly, I don't. I mean, I could see him being Bob Arum, doing it till his 80s. Shalom. Have you ever been to Israel? Yes, multiple times. First time I was there, I was like 11. I went there in the 9th grade with my school. I went to the March of the Living in the 11th grade. My honeymoon was there in 2008. That was the last time. From my understanding, you are ethnically Jewish, which means you can tour for Israel for free if you went on Birthright. But no, I've been there, so I can't do Birthright. Great program, though. Ariel, you never told us about how you got the scar on your head. Did you ever ask your mom? I didn't. I could call her right now if you guys want. Let's see if she picks up. A little holiday mother appearance? What do you guys think?
You already have the phone in hand.
I mean, it's right here. Let's see. It's ringing. It's become a bit of a thing. Just call people on live on the air. She's probably wondering, why are you calling me? Oh.
Hi, Rafi. How are you?
Hello. I'm actually live on the air, Mama, right now.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am. You just called me Rochi, which is sweetheart in Arabic, right?
Right?
Yes, people keep asking me how I got the scar on my head, and someone suggested that I just call you and ask you right here and now. So you're on speakerphone. Do you know how I got the scar on my head?
No, not really. I don't remember how it happened.
Come
I'm
on.
asking too many questions.
This seems like you're trying to hold some information from us. You're withholding information.
No, I'm not. I'm really not. Probably with a toy or I don't.
You don't remember how I got this scar? I mean, it's very present.
I know it is. I can see it, but no, I can't remember.
Were you watching the show right now?
I just left to go downstairs.
Caught red-handed. Well, of course, this isn't your first time on the show. I mean, you used to be a fixture with New York Rick, Mama Knows, the nose picks and everything.
No, but I was watching it all along, and then I had to go down pick up my granddaughter, but I was going upstairs, so to continue.
Name one
it.
guest who was on the show today. One guest.
Frank Mir.
Oh, there we go. That's good stuff. All right. Well, we wanted to know about
Talking about his kids and his new wife.
Yeah, that was Matt Mitrione. But yeah, I know.
What?
That was Matt Mitrione.
Oh, okay.
Close enough.
Yeah.
All right. Also, people wanted to know why we didn't celebrate Thanksgiving when we were growing up.
Because we celebrate Thanksgiving in Canada. Usually in Canada, it's not such a big, it's not like in the States, but we do celebrate it here. And it's just, because we're thankful, we show our gratitude to what we have. But in the States, it's much bigger.
Yeah. Are you happy that Daniel and I are friends again?
Of course. Finally. I was so happy to hear that.
It's really all because of you.
Sorry?
It's all because of you, because you were very upset that we were, publicly feuding.
I was very disappointed.
It was it was rude. He called me a schmuck. I mean, he really took it over the line.
Yeah. I was very surprised and disappointed that it was turning,
Very
like
personal.
that. But now that you're back, friends together, and I'm very happy and relieved.
All right. All right. Thank you. We'll talk to you later. If you remember about the scar, let me know.
Okay. Do you remember why?
No, I don't. That's why I'm asking.
Oh, okay. It's probably from a toy.
All right. Well,
Or one of your brothers.
it's like the third time someone asks me on the show, so I figured we'd get to the bottom of it.
Oh, okay.
All right.
No, sorry, I can't really remember.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving to all.
All right. Bye-bye. There she
Thank you
is.
for calling.
No
Bye.
problem. Talk to you later.
Okay, bye.
There she is. Mama Knows, everyone. Quick little cameo there. Back to the questions. So we don't know. It's a mystery. It seems like a lot of the high-ranked fighters that squat on their spot are dominance fighters that don't want to fight other dominance fighters. Ooh, interesting. Dariush Islam, for example, I'm not sure if they don't want to fight each other. Isn't it a conflict of interest for the UFC to not match up fighters based on their management team? I don't know if that's a thing. A lot of guys. I mean, they try to steer clear of that. The managers do, but I don't think the UFC cares. In fact, I think they probably like it. 2 quick hits. Okay, we're wrapping up here. Is Izzy versus Whitaker still a play 185? Yes. They're hoping for February. What's next for Alex Pereira? Heard anything? No. What do you make of Terrence Crawford's post-fight press conference where he tells the media while on stage with Bob Arum that he's moving to another promotion? I mean, it was incredible. But there's been some beef between those two for quite some time. There was a time where Bob Arum was like, I can't even get this guy to move the needle. So it feels like, they were moving towards a divorce very soon. But yeah, that was pretty savage on his part to say it right there with Bob sitting next to him. You could see Bob's face like, oh my gosh. Who doesn't tend to hold back? What's up, Ariel? With Petr Yan hinting at a fight against TJ Dillashaw. Is that true? Did I miss something? How long do you think they give Aljo before they strip him? I saw Aljo saying he's like all good. I think they're going to try to do that. But, maybe by the new year. I think March, April is probably the deadline. P.S. Thank you for the birthday cameo. Hey. No problem. Hey, Ariel, considering the lightweight division at the moment with DP versus Oliveira and Gaethje's number 1 contender spot, what kind of performance do you think Beneil Dariush? Wow, we need to get Beneil on this. Hey, GC, can you book Beneil Dariush for Monday, please? A lot of people want to hear from him. I'd like to see Beneil versus Islam, number 1 contender fight. The best fight of 2022 will be... I don't know. Too soon to say. Any plans to do your roundtable stuff again? The stuff you do is great, but we want more. Also, it shows up. What? I remember when you did Wednesdays where you could bring in other media guys to discuss topics, the stuff you used to do with, the MMA beat. Not at the moment, but let's see. Has Josh Thompson reached out to you since you 10-7 him? Of course not. He wants nothing to do with this. Of course, now that we've mentioned him, he's going to go on a string of tweets that make no sense, that are all passive-aggressive, pretending like he has such a great life, unearthing old photos and videos from 3 years ago when he was on a beach. And I guess that's some sort of signal that he has a better life than all of us because he happens to be on a beach and none of us can go on a beach, and his feet are in the sand and he's enjoying life and he's not paying attention to any of the comments. And I'm sure that's coming anytime soon. Hey, Ariel, here's a different kind of question for you. My girlfriend and I will be going on a dinner date in New York City. Where are we going? We'll report back. Wow. It's up to me. Go to Sasabune, 73rd and 1st, the greatest sushi that I've ever had in my life. It's not fancy. There's no sign on the door. It looks like a library closet, but I will bet you any money in the world you have never tried anything like that food. Ariel, have you ever had a moment where you were like, wow, I can't believe I got to witness this live, whether it be in person or just watching on TV? I love sports history, so I was just wondering if there was one event that you got to witness live that really sticks out to you. Oh my gosh. Yeah, a lot. I mean, the rise of Conor, those events were kind of crazy. The Mayweather fight was kind of crazy. GSP 129 in Toronto, crazy. Getting through those NBA games up close in person, crazy. Those are a few that come to mind. But yeah, I mean, the whole thing has been crazy. The whole freaking thing. Can we expect Ben Askren to be on the MMA Hour this coming Monday? It's time. You guys want him? I think he does a podcast with like 4 listeners, so I don't know if he has time to come on this show. What is the closet that you have come to having to go to the bathroom during the show? Considering how many years you've been doing it. Why are so many people concerned about my bladder? No close calls. Watch next week's show. Have like 2 close calls, Monday and Wednesday, but so far so good. Which fighters deserve a special thank you today? Which have been the most generous with their time? Wow, Dan Hooker. I should have thanked him. Well, I did thank him, but I mean all of them. All of them. I'll come back to that question at the very end. Has there ever been an egregious stoppage in MMA where you felt it was hard to keep watching? Yeah, there was a lot. There was Chris Cyborg versus Jan Finney was a weird one. As far as I'm concerned, your show and Morning Combat are the only shows worth watching. You helped make me an instant fan of so many fighters I only heard about on your show. Hell, I will likely never enjoy watching pro wrestling, but you made me a fan of a couple of wrestlers too. Question, if you had to pick a team of 1 lightweight UFC fighter and 1 featherweight to form a tag team, which fighters do you feel like would make for the most entertaining competitive tag team? God, I don't know. My brain is fried. I appreciate the the love, but my brain is fried. Lior, there's one question that's way too long. Ariel, my friend, DC's face turn was great. It was awesome to see the band back together. My question is, if one of your kids would want to be an MMA fighter with a current UFC fighter pay, would you recommend? Hell no. Forget about the pay, just the safety. Favorite Thanksgiving food? I love pecan pie. I love all the pies. Pumpkin pie, pecan pie. I like the stuffing. I like the cranberry. I mean, I like it all. It's all great. What's the most painful anti-Semitic thing someone has done to you? When I was a basketball coach, a high school basketball coach, I put my board there, like the whiteboard to draw plays. I put it down on the ground. I picked it up and someone drew a swastika on it. And that kind of bummed me out. But, honestly, if that's the worst, and that's one time I was in Syracuse, I was a student, and someone said Jude, like, oh, I had just been Jude, implying like, I guess, or no, say like, implying that they were ripped off. And I had never heard that before, and that was weird. But again, if that's the worst that I've ever experienced, it's a pretty damn good life compared to what other people have experienced. Favorite New York Rick hipster moment of all time? It has to be the Ronda Rousey Comeback of the Year award, right? I mean, there's nothing better than that. You signed up to do a 2-hour show that now regularly runs over 4 hours. Does the studio crew hate you? Let's wrap this thing up so they can maybe get home to their families in time for Thanksgiving. Do you guys hate me back there?
Not a chance.
Okay, see? No one, I mean, they have nowhere to go. We just found out that GC has nowhere to be. Frank, you got anywhere to be?
I think Frank wrote that.
Are you Aaron?
No comment.
Okay, well, there's only 3 left. Think there's an even better question than what was asked last week to see where your Canadian sports alliance is. If you walked into a bar and see the 1993 Cup-winning Montreal Canadiens team, Bret Hart, the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be, and Owen Hart, the 92 World Series Blue Jays team, and GSP, which order do you go up to him? Of course you go up to Owen Hart first. I mean, he's no longer with us. 92 World Series team doesn't mean anything to me. I was an Expos fan back there. So, back then, excuse me. Lewis Gilmore, by the way, right now just replied to that other guy and said, only Monday afternoon Rick wants to get home. That's amazing. I love the roasting of Rick. I mean, ever since he returned. So, yeah, Owen Hart, number 1. Brett, number 2. GSP, number 3. 93 Canadians. Now, if the 94 Expos are there, that might be a tough one. But in this order, the 92 Jays team goes last. Lewis, pull the curtain back on being backstage at Survivor Series. Any cool interactions or moments, things you'll remember, any insights on watching the WWE machine operate one of their big events? How does it compare to doing a similar thing in an MMA event? You killed it. It was particularly great to watch a UFC card, or you mean WWE card, and then see the nose appear on the BT Sport preview show right after. Oh, yeah, I was on right after. That's right. It was incredible. We're sitting there. They take us to the back. It's me and my 2 kids. The first person we see is Paul Heyman. And he's like, security, get these kids out there. My kids are terrified. They're 9 and 7. We see Finn Balor back there. And we're back there right before the 25-man battle royal. And so they're all gearing up to go out. They're spritzing their hair. They're doing like these curls things with the elastic thingy. And I never asked my kids what they thought of it, but they were actually like doing a thing where they was like, you do this, you do that. It's like we got to see behind the curtain. Like true behind the scenes. And it was damn cool. I always wanted to see that. I've been there once before, but being there with my kids was incredible. So we're watching that. We're waiting for Becky Lynch. She's obviously emotional. She's kind enough to say hello to my kids. I didn't ask for anything. We're standing. She shakes their hand. She tells me to clean my hand with hand sanitizer, which I appreciate. Didn't ask for anything. We're waiting. Jinder Mahal sees me and he goes, Helwani in the house. I was like, oh my God, Jinder Mahal, this is crazy. And then he said, he makes a joke to my kids about having backstage passes. Take a picture with him was cool. And then Seth Rollins couldn't have been cooler. And he comes up to my kids and says hello to them and asks them if they want a photo. I'm big on not asking people for photos. Like, it's not my thing. I don't want to bother people, especially when they're at work. And we took a photo and my kids were in awe. I mean, I don't know who was more excited, me or them, but it was pretty damn cool. And it was fun, and especially with the Becky Lynch interview. It reminded me of the old days of doing the interviews backstage. Everyone's sweaty. The emotion, it's just different, right? It's just different. So very thankful, and I appreciate it. I appreciate it very much. Melissa, happy Thanksgiving. I appreciate the wishes. Happy Thanksgiving to you. And she says happy Thanksgiving to me, my wife, and my kids. And so that's it. Thank you for all the questions. Frank, anything you're thankful for?
I'm thankful to be a part of the team.
Wow, that's good. You're thankful that we're wrapping up here. So going back to the other question, I want to say thanks to everyone out there. Thank you so much for sticking with us. Thanks for coming back. Thank you to Vox for having us back, for having the show back, for not throwing out the desk, the gear, the screens. I mean, it was all here. Thank you to everyone back there. Frank, Joe, Tucker, Connor, Yoon, Alex, Brian, everyone who was a part of the relaunch. Of course, Jim, our leader here. And thank you to, most importantly, all the fighters. I mean, if there are no fighters on the show isn't exactly what I want it to be. Thank you to everyone who takes time out, 30 minutes, to come on the show, 20 minutes, whatever the case is. Thank you to all the managers and the PR people that help us book the show, the significant others, whomever it may be. Thanks to all the fans who write in, who tune in, who listen, who download, who subscribe. I love you all. This is a dream gig. If you would have told me 20 years ago that I could do this for a living, almost 40 years old, sitting in front of this microphone and there's actual people listening to me, on Thanksgiving Eve, it's an amazing thing. I love what we're doing here. I love what we're rebuilding. I love the momentum. I love the love. I love the characters. I love the stories. I love the fighters. I love the interactions, the access. It's all a dream. So if you're celebrating tomorrow, I hope you have a very happy and healthy Thanksgiving. I hope you're able to spend some time with loved ones, kick back, relax, no stress, just good memories, good food, good laughs. If you're not, I hope you have a happy and healthy Thursday. And I hope that you can take something away from the spirit of this holiday and just use it as a reminder to be thankful, to be appreciative, to be grateful, to love life, to count your blessings. And if things aren't going well right now, be hopeful that things are going to turn around, that better days are ahead. If you need help, if you're looking for help, if you need someone to talk to, there is always someone out there. And just remember that we only get one shot at this life. So take it, and keep it in a special place. Don't take it for granted. Appreciate life. Appreciate everything you have. And good things will come to those who are positive and bring in that energy and who are appreciative and grateful of everything. And I am. And so I'm trying to live my life that way. And I think it's working.